So in lesson one, I'm going to introduce the course and just provide a little bit of background. The real question for this course is, does a fundamental disconnect exist between today's coastal real estate markets and sea level rise trends? If so, how big is the disconnect? Why does it exist? When will it be resolved and how? And what about the residential versus commercial real estate disconnects? These questions don't have any right answers, but exploring them can hopefully help position you for what is an uncertain future. Now, in terms of course goals and methodologies, the Climate Web is the knowledge management system we use in this and other courses, and I'll give you a little bit more on the Climate Web at the end of the course. The goal of this course is to pull together the best thinking we can find to help you explore a very complicated topic, and to present that information in a way that makes sense and that holds together and that can be updated and reviewed again. The goal of the course is not to convince you of a particular conclusion or course of action, but it's to give you information that might help you think through the questions and the disconnects that we're raising in the course from your own perspective, and perhaps motivate you to dig more deeply into the topic. Now, you might benefit from the hands-on version of this course as opposed to the video-only version. With the hands-on course, you can explore all of the information you'll see referenced in the course videos and much more. You can listen to the video as you walk through it yourself in the hands-on version, or you can access the video transcript as you explore the hands-on course. You can download the PNG images you see us use in the course and effect these slides that you're seeing pop up and other images. You can check back in with the hands-on course to see materials we may have added and sources we may have updated that aren't yet reflected in the videos. On the Ruzuku page of this lesson, if you look below this video, you'll see another video where we actually, in very short order, demonstrate how the hands-on course works. And the hands-on course does cost $49. If you want to switch to it now or during this course, the coupon code on this page will discount the price to account for what you paid for the video-only version of the course. So we'll make you whole. It's worth bearing in mind as we enter this course just how significant the coastal economy is to the U.S. And just a few statistics here, that the contribution of coastal shoreline counties is just about half of the total U.S. GDP in 2011. 51 million jobs, trillions of dollars of wages paid out. In terms of gross domestic product rank of shoreline counties in the U.S., it would actually be the third largest country in the U.S., or not in the U.S., in the world, behind the U.S. as a whole and China. So the economy here that is a potential issue with sea level rise is just critically important to the U.S. economy as a whole. And that's worth bearing in mind as we get into the course. Sea level rise in the Climate Web, just to let you know, is a very big topic. A massive amount of information is organized in the Sea Level Rise Deep Dive that is available to you in the open access Climate Web. And all of the deep dives are structured in the same way to make them easy to use across the almost 100 topics that we cover with deep dives in the Climate Web. And those deep dives organize, in some cases, hundreds of topical sources, news coverage, news stories, blogs, multimedia materials like videos, websites that we've pulled together, and more. So bear that in mind if you do want to dig deeper into the larger topic of sea level rise. This course focuses on the potential relationship of sea level rise to real estate values. So it's a very narrow slice of both the larger sea level rise and the larger climate impact conversations that are going on. Because the impacts of climate change are certainly not going to be limited only to real estate on the coast, ski resort real estate, floodplain, flood-prone real estate, fire-prone real estate, agricultural real estate. These are all sectors that climate change is likely to manifest in all kinds of ways that could prove relevant to real estate values, among many other topics, obviously. But just to give you a little bit more information here, because this is a field that is just starting to be explored, river flooding is actually the most serious weather hazard in the U.S., and you can go in and just get tidbits of information here. But this particular graphic here is very interesting in terms of the first study to try and look at a modeled estimate of how housing prices might change in connection with ski resorts around the U.S. And this isn't the topic of this course, and we're not going to dig into this more, but this particular graphic suggests that in some parts of the West, you're looking at 30 to 49, 50 to 56% changes in housing value by 2050 based on climate change impacts and the associated impacts on the desirability of having a house near a ski resort, for example. So we're not going to dig more into that, but obviously that's all sort of part of this larger conversation about the impacts of climate change. That wraps up our very brief introduction to the course, and we're going to go ahead and jump on to lesson 2.